Hey, it's early in the AM here. Had an incident where the emergency warning system went off here at the command center. So I had to jump up, run down into the bunker here, see what's going on. Turns out it was a false alarm. So here we are. It was about 1:54 a.m. and we are awake. All right, welcome back, G.F.U tubers. Glad to see you here. If you haven't been here before, checking these videos out, feel free to hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Like, share, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. All right, so something that's been on my mind for a couple days, I ran across a news story that I found interesting and did a little more research into it. And as I learned some things, kind of got disgusted about what went on here. So I thought about it, did a little bit of research, and I got some opinions on this. So let's get into it, all right? All right, back in 2006 in Florida, there was a murder of a family of four, mother, father, two young children, vicious murders of the whole family. Um, it's called the Escobedo, Escobedo murders. Again, it happened in Florida, 2006. You can Google this up, get some information on that. I'm not going to dwell on that so much as how it brought me to what I want to discuss today. Okay, these two right here were on their way to church when they decided to stop off and pick up a little money for some candy after Sunday school. Just kidding. These two turds right here, as you can see over my shoulder here, were two of the suspects in this case, murder suspects that were accused of wiping out a whole family, mother, father, two young children, and they were they were tried and they were given the death penalty, federal death penalty, I believe, which is not too common, from what I understand, for the federal government to seek the death penalty on somebody. So anyway, long story short, these two were tried, convicted, unanimously. Jury convicted them. They were sentenced to death. Their attorney apparently appealed it, took it to circuit court. They upheld the decision, uh, unanimously said, nope, these two guys, the death sentence stands on them. So their attorney took it even higher to the Supreme Court to appeal it, and the Supreme Court voted unanimously 9-0 to deny any appeals. So basically, the Supreme Court is upholding the death penalty on these two guys. Okay? So that is how I got to where I am now in what the topic of this discussion is today. Well, apparently, at the very end of Joe Biden's presidency, he signed an order of clemency for these two, which means they avoid the death penalty. Yeah, they're going to be in prison for life, but they avoid the death penalty. So that got me to thinking, if you've been watching the news lately, about how the incompetence of Joe Biden uh, was known for quite some time, and it was covered up by his administration, staff, the media, about how bad he was. And if you can remember back to the 2020 elections, did Joe Biden do any campaigning for that? No, they locked him away in a basement. You didn't see much about him. He didn't do any uh, pressers. He didn't do any press with the news. He didn't hold any campaign rallies, really. They kept him locked away in the basement. That's because they didn't want you to know exactly how bad off he was. But he was going to be their front runner for the Democratic Party to go up against Trump, win the presidency. In case you've forgotten how bad he was, let me run a little video clip I had done earlier of him here. So just refresh your memory a little bit. Here we go.
Real believe it. Helping the baker and the butcher bring the boxes in from the back of the building.
All right. So you get the point. You get the point. Okay. So, in his cognitive decline, which has obviously been going on for quite some time, it didn't just happen within the last few years of his presidency. It was obviously going on long before that. And, it was covered up. So, brings me to this point here. Could he sign executive orders toward the end of his presidency? Could he legally sign that declaration of clemency for these two goons? Could he pardon himself, his whole family, of past, present, and future crimes? Which in alone, I mean, which itself says a lot right there. If you're going to pardon your family for past, present, and any future crimes, when he said he wouldn't pardon his son for certain, I mean, this guy was clueless. So how is he able to sign executive orders, this order of clemency on these two clowns, pardon anybody, when apparently he probably didn't even have any clue of what he was doing? Someone else was using the auto pen to sign his name. So, what's the legality of that? Somebody that's incompetent signing legal documents does that make those documents null and void when that person is found out to be incompetent? And at the time they signed those documents, they didn't have all their faculties about them and they were incompetent. So a little bit of a searching, and turns out, from what I can understand, is that it doesn't make those documents null and void. Apparently, the person who is incompetent or diminished in their capacities that sign those documents, apparently they are the only ones, or their guardians are the only ones that can void those documents. Does that make any sense to you? Doesn't to me, especially for someone like the president to be signing such important things. And if he has no clue what those important things are that he's signing, he's just putting his name on them because somebody said, "Hey, sign here, Uncle Joe." Uh, I I think that those things should be null and void, or at least this topic should be visited to see if anything he signed is legal and admissible. I think there has to be an investigation that goes into seeing how long he was in cognitive decline, and the what the cognitive decline was. Did he understand things? Did he not understand things? I mean, you've seen some of the press where he's fallen asleep in meetings, and I mean, come on now, how is this guy able to sign anything and it hold up? So that was the point of today's discussion. And again, like I said, how I got there was watching that news story about the two turds that committed the murder, got the death sentence, and Biden granted them clemency on the death sentence. That's what got me to thinking about all this. So let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, is that right that someone that doesn't have all their faculties about them is making huge decisions like that? You know, uh, I believe all that needs to be gone back and revisited. And, you know, you tell me what you think. Leave a comment. Again, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell for certain, and check out the end video links at the end here. All right. Appreciate it. Till next time.